alluded to in the report, the current system that we have is sort of an ad hoc system that we're not able to calibrate in any way, shape, or form. The pump on the system does not allow us to completely nozzle the spray bar because it doesn't have enough pressure to overcome the resistance of all the nozzles, so it's really not ideal. So we've looked into the cost of the new units, and I feel that it's important for us to have a new unit so that we can calibrate and put down brine at recommended rates, as well as we would keep the old system for redundancy. As you can well imagine, in the winter operations, things break down, and currently with having one system, if we should have a breakdown, we don't have the ability to apply brine.
Thank you very much. Motion to that effect? Okay.
Second.
Councillor Erickson, Councillor Medlow? Yep. Councillor Erickson?
For you, Kevin, do you buy the brine from the highways, or do you mix your own brine?
We buy the brine from Anglo Anderson.
And so you just need a truck that displaces it?
Yeah, so
Or a tank or whatever it is?
yeah, throughout the winter, it's a 600 gallon US gallon tank that goes in the back of the truck. And so we go to Anglo Anderson and fill up, and we have an ongoing agreement with them that we record the volume that we take from them, and they send us an invoice. We do also have a brine storage tank in our yard that we keep in the event that Anglo Anderson is unable to supply us for whatever reasons, or there's an issue for them to get brine from their supplier, or wherever they get it from, whether they make it or not, I'm not sure. So yeah, typically we go and fill up when we leave our tank full.
So this $12,000, this includes the tank and the sprayer and the pump and the whole system that goes in the back of the truck?
Yeah, it's a slide-in system, it's on a skid, so you can pick it up with a forklift, or we'll likely use our overhead hoist in the yard and we can back the truck under it. But it's got all the valving, it's got all the, it's got a motor for the pump, and it's got quite a wide spray bar, wider than the one we have now, so we can actually apply a wider swath.
Okay. Motion's on the table. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Committee reports at this time. Mayor and council reports. A couple of things here just to add to the mix. Some very sad news. I'm sure as council has already heard, Mr. Wally Pankiw passed on. He was a very distinguished member of the community. Definitely a person who I'll miss a lot. He was always very nice. He had this gift of making everyone feel really special every time we talked to them. He was just a very consistent, loving, community-minded person. I believe his service will be on December the 7th at 1 o'clock, full military honors, because he had a very distinguished military career as well. So thoughts and prayers go out to his family. He was married for 60 years, so I can't even begin to imagine what his wife is going to be going through, but I know she's well loved in the community as well, so I will make a point of looking her up probably tomorrow and seeing if there's anything we as a community can do for her. Now there is, fortunately it's not all bad news pertaining to the fire department here. We had a very nice annual year-end get-together, which council was invited to, and it was my pleasure to deliver thanks on behalf of council. Had a good, I know Councillor Medlock was able to make it, and Councillor Dybel as well, and I know the rest of council wanted to attend, but it's tough during these times to attend all events. We had a number of folks there that had some extended service medals provided. Mr. Alan DeLong, I believe, was 40 years. Mr. Mike Bocock, 35 years. And then Nolan Lothian at 5 years, so quite impressive. I would like to, maybe for the next council meeting, invite them to attend, and maybe Tom can present them the certifications, their acknowledgements at a public council meeting. They've already received it, so I'll be sort of re-gifting it, but I think it's important that they're publicly recognized at a council meeting as well. So if they're so inclined, we could certainly have them out to our meeting at the next meeting. So maybe we can work through Tom, our fire chief, to make sure that that happened. And so special thanks to Fire Chief DeSorcy and Ian Williams, one of our fire department members who emceed the dinner. It went really well, and I think everyone had had a good time, but they were all missing Wally because he was always very involved in their annual get-together in the department. So there was a natural heaviness surrounding that, of course. A couple quick things. The regional district has a new chairperson. Mr. Jason Lum was elected as chair. I think that's going to be a good thing. He's a very keen and able member of the Chilliwack Council. It was kind of an interesting race. It started off as a three-way race. Mayor Gates wanted to run, put her name out there. I don't know what her personal reasons were for bailing a day before, but she decided to back her council member, Jason, which was good. I put my name out there as well. And I thought, Mayor Hope has never been the regional district chair. It'd be interesting if we could pull it off, but I was a couple of votes short. So, but the neat part is we have new leadership there, and we have a great board to work with. And of course, not being chair, you have the opportunity to be a little more outspoken, which I actually appreciate. So it's going to be a good fit as well. So I look forward to working with the board over the next year with Jason Lum as the chair. Now, the regional library, we had a budget meeting here this past week, and the suggested increase is going to be in a 3% bracket. So maybe we could get Dale to Mr. Cordes to throw it on the next agenda, just for council review. It's not an extraordinary increase by any stretch. Requisition for the regional library. One of the cost drivers, obviously, is resources, and with our Canadian currency being a little weak with regards to the U.S. dollar, 3% is actually pretty low. So, yeah,
is that 3% our share or overall budget?
3% because it's based on circulation and so on.
So that's Hope
share, 3%. Yeah, so it's quite a. I think that's a affordable increase. I don't think we want to go and skimp out too much, because if the resources aren't there, the library doesn't stay current. So, as thrifty as I am, I think I can endorse that kind of an increase. So we'll toss that out there for council review and maybe the next meeting. And I guess that is it for me right now. So maybe we'll start with Councillor Smith.
Mine's pretty simple. I have nothing to report.
Okay, well, that's quick and to the point. Councillor Dowd.
Two things to report. Yes, attended the firefighter dinner. What I noted, it was really nice to see several new recruits. So that was really nice to see some new folks, new faces, new blood. So that was fantastic to see. So appreciate the effort that's gone into that. Food, as usual, was great at the golf course, and the ambiance was great. So appreciate the invite, and as well attended the Advantage Hope board meeting. They had 2 spots for new members, and I know you're going to bring forward the recommendation. 3 spots now. Okay. So 5 people had put their name forward and had a bit of a meet and greet prior to the board meeting. So it's good to see that there's people who are wanting to step up and be part of the Advantage Hope board and be part of that process. So some good stuff going on with Advantage Hope. Other than that, that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Stewart.
Okay, so I attended the Golden Agers meeting. It was their annual general meeting. So they brought in a new executive. Bob Burrell is staying as the president for 1 more year, and 4 new elected officials. Also, I had a question while I was there regarding the mailbox on Silverview Street. It pools, like it puddles, and they're wondering if we can put a little bit of sand around the mailbox so that their feet doesn't get as wet when they're picking up their mail. There's a lot of seniors that live there, so I said I would ask if we could put some sand around the mailbox. I attended the BC Transit consultation on Thursday night, and there's a survey, and I want to make an unreasonable request of people that if they could take the time to fill out the survey, even if you drive and you don't intend to take a bus, if you could just, for a minute, take it from the perspective of people who do not drive, or the bus might be an advantage to someone you know that doesn't drive. If you could just take the time to fill out the survey for those people, then it would be greatly appreciated. The more feedback we get, the better we can provide a service or a better service that can be provided, I should say. I also attended a celebration of life on Saturday, November 26th for Louise Marlatt. It would have been her 92nd birthday yesterday. And I've known Louise since I was 10, and I loved her like a mother. She was so good to me. But she was an instrumental member of our Citizens on Patrol in Hope. And when she would drive me home from work, she would say, "I can't wait to get my 15-year pin." This was her 15th year, and she would have got her 15-year pin in December. So I feel like I'm begging tonight, but I mean, I think it would be really totally awesome if the Citizens on Patrol would consider giving the 15-year pin to her family in recognition of 15 years of service. I'm overstepping, but she really wanted it.
We can make a request.
Could you make that?
We can give a one ourselves as a district.
For the pin in particular, is that not the crime prevention group
Yeah.
at Iraqi?
It was so important to her. She would drive me home every Sunday from work, and that's what she would talk about, getting my 15-year pin this year, and so close as well. There was one more thing I just wanted to ask about. I've had some questions about the organic waste bylaw that's coming into effect in 2017, I believe it is. And the request is, will there be any form of education for the commercial people in the community, so that as the bylaw is put into place, that they know what they need to do, and so they're just getting anxious, I guess, about it coming into place, and hoping that they have the education to be able to do it. And that's everything.
Your Worship, I can give you an update on that. And that is for the 2017-2018 time period. In fact, we had a meeting with our contractor on some of these issues. The initial consultation with commercial groups and stakeholders has been undertaken, and that consultation was aimed at identifying them and asking them how they'd like to be consulted.
Okay.
There will now be, through the region, consultations, public stakeholder consultations regarding the organic waste ban that will happen after Christmas. And clearly we will have to play a part in that because we're subject to that solid waste management plan. And we will ensure those consultations take place here and are adequate as we move forward. Education will be a key piece to this. We don't anticipate any change will be significant, perhaps even just one more bin. You don't have to change the bins that you already have. However, change is often friction, and I understand your concern, as does the rest of the staff, to ensure that this is as seamless as possible with as much time necessary to make sure people can make the transition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Councilor Miller.
Sure, I just wanted to report a few things that are happening with Advantage Hope from the meeting. The business walks that took place recently, Advantage Hope has sent out some staff to collect some of the ones that were dropped off where business owners and managers weren't available, and to go back to others that had more questions and concerns. So I think it's great to see that they're actually very interested in the problems and are reacting to that by getting more information and offering help where they can. Advantage Hope has also submitted at the end of October the rural dividend grant application, which they've more or less maxed out at $500,000 ask. So it's like $6 short of that or something, very close. So that's a good thing. There's a lot of partners involved in the application, and it's the kind of thing that the rural dividend people are looking for, is a lot of activity, a lot of partnerships. So I think there's a good chance that it would be successful, but we'll find out probably in the spring. The Station House open house is tomorrow, where it's 2 till 4 here? No.
At the station house.
It was at the station.
That's the public tour, and then
Right.
the public consultation is 5 to 7 here with the architect.
5 to 7 here, yeah, so it's 2-part. I'm hoping that there'll be yet another opportunity, because it's an odd time, 2 to 4. Or I guess for the tour part might be all right, 5 to 7, a little bit more reasonable for people to get together and do the consultation. But I guess we'll see how attendance is, might be necessary to do one more. What else there? There's a whole pile of grant applications that are underway. Ones that are sort of applied for on an annual basis to do with the museum, some park enhancement. There's support that Advantage Hope has given to the community garden, applying for applications to Fraser Health. So it's good to see that they're making partnerships there. There's been some correspondence with MLA Jackie Taggart, who will be running for MLA in our region in the spring. So it's great, I think, that Advantage Hope is reaching out to make those partnerships now before the election. They attended a breakfast in Chilliwack, Tourism Chilliwack Breakfast, which is an annual event that gets partners together, and it's a great networking event. So I think Kent and Tammy went down to that. They're doing some great work with Free Rein. I've got that on here somewhere.
You took good notes.
I'm looking at the report.
Oh,
I took some notes, but I'm looking at the report as well. The Free Rein thing is, yeah, what's the name of the program? It's a train the trainer type program.
Train.
So they're kind of, this is on the second round of that, I think, and it was great success the first time, so they're looking at actually expanding that program into Chilliwack, because it's been very successful. Free Rein is that is. So it's a lot on the go. There's limited staff there, but they're doing a lot with what they have, so I think that's a very good thing. And that's all I have for that.
Thanks, Councilor Melo. Mr. Erickson?
I only have one thing to report. I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting last week, and the annual general meeting is December 7th at the Chamber of Commerce. I think it's 7 p.m.
So what is
just
it?
next time.
Wednesday.
At the rec center.
Pardon me?
At the rec center.
At the rec center. That's all I have.
Sounds good.
Can I just add something? Sorry,
Yeah, absolutely, you bet.
Extreme weather is now in effect, so folks might be getting the emails and updates when that goes into effect. So when the weather gets below 0 or long periods of rain, that will be called, and there's 5 additional beds that we have on top of the 4 that we can house people.
Are those the only beds at the
Yeah. And so basically those are mats on the floor, they're not actual beds that we offer.
That's
so
the
we-
only facility in the
Yes.
community?
That's right, yeah.
Sounds good. Just a couple of quick things tying into Councilor Dudley. You brought up the very valid point that we have some new fire personnel on board this year, and I was quite impressed, and I think there's a nice gender balance or two. There's some ladies coming into the mix here. We have quite a few female firefighters now, which is nice. Good encouragement to the young people in the community as well to get involved, and purposely went out there and had a visit with them, and it's pretty neat to see how excited they are to be part of the department and to be a blessing to the community, so that's good news. And then Councilor Medlock, tying into your valid point about the meetings for the station house issue, I know council, as you recall, committed to 2 public meetings, and I think tomorrow's it'll be obviously the first one, and then we can hopefully for the second one sort of shortlist it to a couple of potential design scenarios, and then then we can sort of see what's affordable, what's not affordable, so keep it kind of closer. Keep refining it, yeah, but do it in a reasonable time frame too, so that we don't stretch this out indefinitely. It's be nice to get this thing finished sooner or later. So thank you all for that. And under permits, we have a couple of items. I understand for the first one.
I'm going to step out for conflict due to proximity to my work.
Okay, so the 19700 Clausen Road is within a fairly close proximity to Councillor Smith's employment. So I guess Mr. Gill, the floor is yours.
Your Worship, Honorable Council, this is a development permit for form and character for the site at 19700 Clausen Road, the truck stop facility. It is to contain a coffee shop, a sit-down restaurant, and just a convenience factor as part of the selling petroleum products, be it retail or commercial, almost to the same amenities as across the highway at the Flying J. And so today we're trying to look for approval for that form of character development permit.
Okay, is that the wish of council? We get a question. We have a motion to that effect. Okay, Councillor Erickson moving. Councillor Stewart. Okay, Councillor Stewart seconding. Questions or comments through to Mr. Gill? All those in favor? Contrary? Motion carries. Hopefully that will come sooner than later. That'd be great. In item B, we have a geotechnical hazard development permit from 64091 Flood Hook Road, presented by Mr. Marco Stilanovic. I hope I got that pronunciation right. Probably reasonably close. Mr. Gill, floor is yours.
Your worship, this is for the, hoping to get council's approval for a geotechnical hazard development permit for a property on Flood Hook Road, 64091. The property prior to the ownership change belonged to a contractor. The contractor had 3 parcels that he used as part of the entire operation. When the former owner sold the property, sold it into the individual parcels. So for this site alone, there was a shop left behind. And when there's an accessory use in play before a principal use, it's considered non-conforming. Now, this geotechnical hazard permit is for a single-family dwelling. If the dwelling is built and that use is now in place, then it bring everything into conformance.
Okay, makes sense. Is that the wish of council?
Move staff's recommendation.
Councillor Medlock moving, we have a second. Councillor Smith second.
I have a question.
Councillor Medlock.
I'm familiar with that property. Is there an access issue off of Flood Hook Road to that specific property?
Your worship, through you, right now there's certain, driveway accesses that have been provided to the main sort of operation and things. As more and more the lots develop, they would have to get highway access permits or driveway access permits through the district, through the approvals of Public Works.
Okay.
Currently, there's not, but they would have to. Okay. That's.
Okay. Additional questions of Mr. Gill? Motion's on the table. All those in favor? Contrary? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we have item 11A, information. Okay. Councillor Smith, second. Correspondence list, received. Seconded, please. Councillor Medlock. Questions or comments?
From us? From us?
No. You're up in about 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
All those in favor? Contrary. Question period. I'm assuming that's Ms. Hines, raring to go.
I would request that the second open house and public consultation take place at a more convenient time for working people, people with small children, such as perhaps on a weekend, for the open house and public consultation, because, just me, I can't make it to either of them. I'm tied up. And I think that if you really truly want input from people, I would think it would behoove council to do it on a weekend when people can come and take a look. Just a thought and a suggestion.
Certainly idea to put out there. Yeah. I think most people are pretty happy with the 5 to 7 slot though. So most people can do that.
Well, if you've got
Most.
kids,
Most.
yeah, if you got kids, you
Bring
know,
your kids.
you're getting them ready.
Bring your kids.
Well,
We're not gonna please everybody in this situation, I don't think anyways.
no, but you want to make it as appealing as possible to the most people possible, I would think, which would verify the results that you're going to get. So,
Okay. Well,
National people will be there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll be there.
Sir? Mr. President?
Maybe as a ratepayer there, we could come and take a tour and put it on video?
I'm sure that's possible.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that. Tomorrow's tour is gonna be somewhat controlled. So we're gonna have to limit to a few people in the building at a time.
It is a construction zone.
It's a construction zone and, you know, it's really not ideal for any kind of an assembly, as soon as we get more than a handful of people in there.
Yeah, no, I think that was understood too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were very clear at the last meeting how that would play out, so that's good.
I would just recommend for the, if there's filming, that public not be included in the filming unless consent is given.
Oh, no, I just said that I could go through, get a tour through and video it for the people who can't.
Just a caution.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that idea.
Cup half full, I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Additional questions?
Are we sure it's that?
Okay, next regular meeting, December 12th.
It's like 5 days, are you sure you don't have anything else?
I could, well, there's lots of topics we could open up.
The door. Pandora's box.
Okay, we got a couple in-camera things to, deal with, no, we've done with those, we're good?
We're good.
No, we're good, so I guess motion to adjourn. Okay.
Control